Think about when you were little. When your mom would get into her baking mood, which one of her goodies was your favorite? Each and every one of you has a favorite go-to treat, whether it's when you've had a rough day or just simply have a sweet tooth. My favorite is Pillsbury's Funfetti cake. Because I loved it so much as a child, I asked my mom to teach me how to make it at a young age, and I've continued to bake it every so often ever since. Baking a cake requires many steps, including gathering the materials, mixing the ingredients, allowing the cake to bake and cool, and topping it off with frosting. So today I'm going to give you these step-by-step instructions on how to properly make one of these cakes. So the first step in baking a cake is to gather all the materials. According to directionsforme.org, the things required to bake include the cake mix, 1 cup of water, half a cup of oil, cooking spray to cover a 13 by 9 inch pan, a large bowl, a spatula, a frosting knife, and an oven. And in my own experience, the best frosting to put on this type of cake is Betty Crocker's Rainbow Chip Frosting. So to get started, preheat the oven to 350 degrees and then spray your pan from top to bottom, because this makes sure that your cake doesn't stick and it's easy to get out. So after all this is complete, the baking process can begin. So the second step is to begin mixing the ingredients. So combine your cake mix, your 1 cup of water, your half a cup of oil, and then 3 whole eggs, make sure you don't get any egg whites in the mix. And then using your spatula, you can begin to mix it up. Just make sure that there's no chunks or thickness. And then at this point, you can use a spatula or you can use an electric mixer. You want to make sure the batter appears moistened and smooth. And then once you have all that mixed up nice and good, you can pour it into your pan, making sure that it's spread evenly all the way through. Then at this point, you'll be on your way to a deliciously tasting cake. The next step is the baking and cooling step. So if your oven is done preheating, you can go ahead and put your cake in the middle of the rack and allow it to bake for 34 to 35 minutes. According to Emma Christensen from thekitchen.org, one way to make sure that your cake is done, if you're unsure, is to stick a toothpick in the middle, and if it comes out clean with no streaks of batter, then it's done. And make sure you cool the cake completely before you start frosting it. And now for the best part, because once you're done frosting your cake, you'll finally be able to eat it. The last step is to frost the entire cake. So first stir your frosting around, and then using the frosting knife, start in the center of the cake, and spread the frosting back and forth evenly, making sure to get all the edges. And then you have to be gentle when you're doing this, because sometimes if you go too fast, the top of the cake comes off with the frosting knife. And then once that process is complete, so is your cake. So now you can go ahead and dig in. So as you can see, baking a cake is a simple step-by-step process that everyone can do. The steps include gathering the materials, mixing the ingredients, allowing it to bake and cool, and then topping it off with frosting. Today we've learned how to complete each individual step to create the perfect funfetti cake. And not only that, but this process works for any type of cake mix, so now it's up to you to discover which one is your favorite.